Hmm. I know it's Valentine's Day over the Western Hemisphere, and we just celebrated just yesterday. Our version of Valentine's Day. It's not just about having with your love, boyfriend, girlfriend stuff or what have you. It's all about love between your friends, your family, etc. What have you. But that's not going to be the point there here in this video because I hear this all the time. I hear this all the time. Call of Duty, Battlefield 4, hardcore. Yep. I didn't get the memo actually on how games are considered hardcore when it comes to gameplay and what is not. I really didn't. I really didn't get any papers whatsoever, like a subpoena or whatever. And games like Fire Emblem, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy 13, what have you, beneath the mainstream hardcore games, they're not hardcore. I really don't, it just bothers me a lot because I hear this all the time. I read this all the time, whether it's in a gaming forum or just on the mall. Like, yes, I go to the arcades and stuff, and I hear this. Yeah, Marvel versus Capcom is hardcore, but the King of Fighters isn't. Tekken is hardcore. Soul Calibur isn't. Dead or Alive isn't, and sort of other stuffs. I mean, I know games are going to be are going to be classified according to their genre. For example, Vagrant Story will be like an action RPG, but uses a using this real-time turn-based action system, but it's still an action game. Final Fantasy Tactics, it's the tactics RPG. Bayonetta will be an action adventure with elements of RPG in it. Battlefield 4 will be a first-person shooter, so it's Call of Duty. But saying, um, having a difference, differentiating what gameplay is hardcore and what is not is like I don't have any examples like at all. I've been thinking of it for a very very long while. I even um, talked to my friends about it, especially to a really certain person, Mildra, who's I'm going to link on the description box. We really talk about this. They say that this X game is not hardcore enough when talking about people who plays mainstream games. They're going to say they have this attitude, and whereas they're going to say the paradigm system of Final Fantasy 13 isn't hardcore. What constitutes hardcore, I don't know. But the thing is, when you talk about hardcore, you talk when you talk about hardcore, you talk about difficulties in the mechanics whatsoever, and yeah, in execution and in the mechanics. Paradigm system. That's one great example. People say it's the oversaturated version of the dress system of Final Fantasy X-2, in which you have three characters. Three characters have distinct characteristics. In order for you to survive, you will set the paradigm system based on their specialties. And you're going to set up the offense and the defensive mode. If you execute it correctly, you'll be good. If you don't, just prepare the anus, if you may. Just you're going to get butt on a guy guns buzz on your butthole. But that is not considered hardcore. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have any words for it. Because these hardcores, the self-proclaimed hardcores, have these, they had this fedora tip on their head, and they're saying, "Oh, that game is not hardcore. Get out." That is really a head scratcher for me. Can someone explain this to me? How a gameplay can be described as hardcore, if you may? Because as far as I know, being hardcore is being passionate about what you do. It's not about the gameplay. It's with regards to gameplay, with regards to its mechanics, with regards to if you're really 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 a hardcore gamer, with regards to the game titles. You're going to play it, you're going to test it. But I'm not a hardcore gamer. I'm more of a, I use my brain. I think a lot. Like, I research a lot. That's what I do, and I don't consider myself as hardcore. But saying that a certain gameplay is have to be hardcore, and if you play this, you're cool. If you play this, you're above the echelon of gaming. It's just I don't know anymore. How people like you, how people like the others are coming up with this kinds of reason. I know that fight on the SGC, you're going to say that Street Fighter, Tekken are hardcore fighting games, but whereas Soul Calibur, Bloody Roar, King of Fighters, Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, Samurai Showdown, and other fighting games are not. They just for wussies, if you may. They always say that. And yeah, I was caught playing Soul Calibur. It's like you're playing that casual game. You're playing that wussy game. You're not hardcore as I thought. It's like it's nuts. It's really nuts. Look. If you can explain to me on what is really going on and on this, how was this established? When it is this established? Enlighten me, because I really don't know. Because as far as I know, when it comes to gameplay mechanics, they're going to be based on that, and that is going to be the basis of their genre. But hardcore or not hardcore, I don't know. Just blew me away. Ask yourself the same question, okay? Just ask the people who thinks that they're hardcore and they have the de facto judgment on whether the gameplay is hardcore or not. Just humor me, okay? Drop a comment there, send a PM there. I'm going to drop my Skype ID there as well. God, this is really a mouthful. I I don't have any more to say. It's just I've been suffering for that for years. Anyway, I'm here. And I don't know about you, but for me, Vagrant Story is one of the hardcore difficult games that I've ever played. That is all.